Hello.
Hello, everyone. I feel like I'm so low in the camera. Why did I start like this? Anyway. Um, hello. It's week 3.
And you
For
know
the
what that means in history.
Yes, that means that either the game is getting kickstarted, there's a house meeting, there's chaos, and season 17 proved to be no different in that regard. I'm so glad that we finally have a game to talk about. Not that these last 2 weeks haven't just been so much fun, but um, where it's like those first 2 weeks we saw where the social bonds were set up, and now finally a move was made. I don't think from this point forward anyone's just going to be able to make like the easy move. Um, we're now also going to be heading out of a duo Swiss, which I think came at the perfect time because like this was a spark plug and people are now ready to like play the game. And I'm really excited to dive in and talk about these people. A lot has changed for me, and I do have very specific thoughts on a lot of people, whereas before it was just kind of a generic, oh, well, you talk to people. 6. Oh, well, you don't. 4. Like, you know what I mean? So
You mean?
quite exciting. This week we saw Kaden and Damon become the new heads of household. Um, there's so much to talk about there that we'll talk about with each of them individually. Um, Damon nominated Jamie and Citrus. Caden nominated Lefteri and Riley. I think they both initially wanted to see uh, Jamie and Riley win the duos duel. So naturally, Citrus and Lefteri won the duos duel. Um, they were left on the block. Ashlyn won the veto, used it on Jamie. Damon put Cyan up as the backdoor, and he did leave 9-1. If you had asked me last week on the rankings if this was a possibility for this week, I would have said no way in hell. But here we are, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah, no, great week. Very exciting. Sad to see Cyan go,
I'm so sad.
but we'll talk about Cyan when we get there. Starting off this week with Ashlyn.
Starting off with
Ashlyn,
Ashlyn.
our
Last week,
veto winner,
veto
catalyst
winner.
for the backdoor plan this week.
Um,
Pressed her
A-
luck in the right direction. Sorry, keep going.
Ashlyn last week had a 4 from both of us, moving down in the scores from her 5 in week 1. And for me, as a game player, this week, call me crazy, call me just a little crazy. But Ashlyn solidified for me that she's one of my favorite players this season in terms of just like her logical game sense. Because with peace and love, I've had it with all of these Delulu people that don't just think with their logical brains and are like making shit up in their heads about what's going on in the game. The amount of times like that Juan came to Ashlyn this week and was like, well, so why do you think this is happening? Huh? And Ashlyn was like, because this, or it's not big of a deal, or what? It's like, yeah, thank you, Ashlyn. Or the amount of people that have been like, wow, Damon's a fucking mess after this week. This is so crazy. And Ashlyn was like, I talked to Damon for 2 seconds and he explained the plan. And like, it just kind of like makes sense to me. And I'm like, thank you, Ashlyn, for not crashing out over nothing. Um, this week, I think winning this veto for her was huge. Um, before even she won the veto, as people were starting to make these plans, she was being included in them. I think largely because she was partners with Danny, and Danny was someone that was also in the realm to be included in these things. However, because of that, she has talked to a lot more people. Um, because she won the veto, she was very much in the loop of these plans. And then since then, she's been talking to people about the vote, been figuring it out. I think she's a lot more in it now in a way that she wasn't before. And I am excited to see what her prospects are. Do I kind of like low key, and it's so interesting because again, if you asked me week 1 and 2, I wouldn't have expected this. But I do see a Liz trajectory for her where it was like not that she was on the outs before, but where she was like not as talkative before. All of a sudden, she won a veto where something happened, and now things are happening, and she's like locked in and in it, and that's great. I'll be interested to see like where that goes for her in terms of her front running the game. I think there is still she doesn't have a number one that sees her as her number one. which is, I guess, actually Juan. But I don't know if I guess she sees Juan as her number one. I don't know. That dynamic is just confusing to me because Juan is a confusing person. Um, but Ashlyn, all to say, really good. I'm excited to see what she does. I think she's got a much more decent footing. I think she's in a pretty good position. Um, I will be raising my score, and I'm going to raise it to a 6. Um, Bouncing around. It is a 2 point raise for Ashlyn from me. Um, Socially, she could be doing still a little better. However, she's doing much better than she was, and I do like her strategic capabilities. So I will be at a 6 for Ashlyn.
Yeah, I will say that I've had the opportunity this week to join more calls than I did last week, and I think that's going to be a theme throughout the rankings today, talking about people on calls and their discussions. But Ashlyn, I see a lot of not only a Liz trajectory, but a Liz like vibe. She like the only reason I worry about her slightly moving forward is that the people she doesn't connect with, their calls are so dry. They're so
It's
dry.
so
And
bad.
and so many people have been like, yeah, I tried to keep a call going with Ashlyn, but I like couldn't do it. But on the flip side of that, the people that she's with, like she is with and like she has conversations with and she talks to and she's like excited to talk to. And I think that's very similar to Liz too. Uh Ashlyn this week, whether it was a good move for everybody involved, Ashlyn gained an ally in Jamie using the veto on her. Um, and took out a big threat in the house as opposed to someone like Jamie. So I think for her, she's not getting a lot of the pushback, or she's not getting as much pushback as Damon is. So I'm going to go up to a 6 as well. I do think this is kind of like the move for her to come out a little bit and start playing the game more up front with more people.
Very nice. So Ashlyn going from a 5 in week 1 to a 4 in week 2 up to a 6. Um,
Like that.
happy for Ashlyn. That's such a good point. There have been a lot of people that like you get on a FaceTime call with her and it's just like silence and then the call ends after 5 minutes. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
there's so much silence when I'm with Ashlyn. It was so funny. O'Reilly called her yesterday, and we're going through a bunch of dead zones yesterday in the Wienermobile, and she's like silent for a second, and Riley's like, "Oh, did you say something? I couldn't hear you." And Ashlyn's like, "No." So, she's funny.
Work. Work, Ashlyn. You better work. Okay.
All right.
Social game. Okay.
Okay, Kaden.
Moving on to Kaden. Okay. I want to like slap Kaden across the damn face. Let me just open with that.
Oh,
Because this HOH was like atrocious, but not because of what happened on the HOA. Like there have been HOHs in the past where I'm like, wow, that was one of the worst HOH reigns in history. That was a hot mess. This was a hot mess, not because it was one of the worst HOH reigns in history, because Caden just thinks it was a mess. Caden, this HOH reign
every time I've heard him
was.
talk, he's like, "Oh my gosh, my HOH disaster." I'm like, okay.
I'm like, Caden, no, you act like, oh my god, I'm like, I want to just shake him. I'm like, Caden, calm the fuck down. You're fine. Damon made a move that was smart for you that you wanted to make at the beginning of the week. And now he's so pressed and is like burying Damon for what reason? I don't know because Damon is has no one and is loyal to Caden. Um but yeah, like literally like from my perspective, in the beginning of this week, Caden and Damon heading into the week, Caden was like, Damon, we have to win HOH or we're going to be going out. And then they won HOH, and Caden was like, why did we do that? Why did we win HOH? Then immediately was talking with Damon, and Damon was like, well, like Juan was considering gonna put me up, like I would like backdoor him, and Caden was like, no, do not backdoor Juan. If you should backdoor anyone, it's Cyan. He's connected. We want to disconnect him from Suba. He's in theory coming after us. Backdooring Cyan would be great. And then Damon afterwards was like, okay, I'm gonna backdoor Cyan. And Caden is like, Damon is fucking crazy. What is he doing? He's making all these. And I'm like, Caden, you gave him the idea. I'm like, what? I don't get it. Um, and then just throwing, like, I don't think people would think that this HOH was as bad of a mess if Kaden wasn't going around to everyone and being like, yeah, this HOH was a bad mess. I'm like, no one was thinking that. No one was thinking that. Um, because clearly, after Sion went up on the block, he went home with 9 votes. It's not like people were like not willing to make this move, whatever. Like everyone was on board. It was a 9-1 vote. Like the week was fine. Caden is still socially set up, but he's just like crashed the fuck out for what? Luckily, him crashing out hasn't, like, sometimes when people crash out, it turns into them like doing the most and spreading the most info or whatever. His crash out has just been like thinking the worst of himself and throwing Damon under the bus, which like there are far worse things to do. Um, but whereas like I could have like been raising my score and being like, he took out a key player, he's gonna have Suba closer with him, and Damon has all the blood on his hands, whatever. Instead, I'm kind of like, he's mitigated all of the potential like credibility that he could have gotten from making this move. I think he misplayed it with Suba majorly. Major dropped ball there, which we'll get to. Um, and I think it's just like thinking like wishy-washy of himself. If he was going around to everyone and was like, wow, this was a mess. I'm so bad. And then in his diary room was like, yeah, like everyone's gonna think this is a mess. Damon's gonna take the fall. I'm gonna play wimpy and like get none of the blood on my hands. I'd be like, awesome. The issue is he's in his dining room and he's like, this was awful. I'm the worst. I hate everything, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. Um, all to say, I went up to a 7 last week. I'm gonna move down to a 6. He's still in a good spot. I'm not gonna tank his score and like put him anywhere near the yellows or reds, but he's at the bottom of the green just because like what was this crash out? He should have a higher score right now, but it's a 6 from me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at my 6. He's just like so. He's so into the game, which I love, and it's great. But and he's not. I wouldn't say he's like too into the game. I think he's just like overthinking. Like he's just like over.
In the game.
Not even like
Yes.
overplaying. Just like
No,
over.
he's not overplaying.
Like overthinking and over analyzing, which is leading to like bad judgment. Um, so I don't know. Riley was like, "I'm going to use Caden's anxiety against him," and just
Wait, and that's the other thing. Other people like Riley, Karina, who is like one of Caden's closest people, even like Juan are like in their diary rooms, they're talking to each other, being like, yeah, Caden's just like a really anxious player, like, and he's super paranoid and whatever. And like they're talking like, I think it's fine, but like he's like just really like a hot mess right now. And like people are noticing it and it's not good. I'm like, Caden, you could have the world right now and you don't. Ah,
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens there. But cool. Citrus.
citrus. Okay.
One second. One second. You can talk.
Yeah. Citrus. I'm going back and forth on if I'm being so honest.
Thank you very much.
Um, oh, thank you very much.
Oh, this makes me. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Citrus. I go back and forth on because it's like she's talked to some people this week, but has she? I don't really think she had. Like,
Where was citrus fruit?
where was Citrus? She won the duel this week and kind of just like disappeared. She's been on the record being like, yeah, like I don't really have the motivation to play now that Julia's gone. You know, that person that was like super playing and belonged to Citrus. Um,
I mean, like maybe because she didn't have to. Like she won the duos duel. She was safe for the week. Um,
yes, but it was like even before that, there was no talk with the HOHs to like try and stay off the block. Her main plot for the week was to try and convince Danny that she didn't vote to evict him, when A, no one believes that, and B, it doesn't matter because people knew that she was close with Julia. Um, It wasn't like there was a plot to take out Danny. Um, and then people were like Danny, Damon, Caden, etc. went to Citrus and were like, "Hey, if we were thinking of making this move, would you be on board?" Crickets, crickets, nothing, got nothing. I think everyone just kind of like wants Citrus out. Like no one cares. With Jamie, it's like some people have talked to her. Some people are thinking about making plans with her. Is she the most talkative? No, but at least people are like considering her as a player in this game. Like I just don't think anyone is considering Citrus as a player in this game. Because I don't think Citrus is really here. I was considering staying at my 3, but like honestly, I'm tired. I'm gonna go down to a 2, and if I'm proven wrong, then I'll go back up to a 3. But it's just like she hasn't done anything. And if you're on record of saying like, yeah, I don't really know. And granted, she's busy with like doing this like during school, like definitely an adjustment. I don't entirely fault her, but it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I'm ranking people if you haven't been here. So 2.
For this week, I'm going to stay at my 3. uh, hopefully, we get more talking from Citrus. I'm seeing like even going into this next week, like at least she talked to whoever's HOH. Um, so it's not like I wasn't expecting last week her to be like Julia's gone and now I am gone too. I don't think that's going to be the case. She won the duos duel. She was safe for the week. That's enough reason for me to be at a 3, I think. All right. Damon.
Damon. Okay. I have so much to say about Damon for the first time this whole game. Um, for me, I do not get why the house is so freaked out and pissed off by this move. Everything that Damon did, in my opinion, and maybe I'm missing something crazy, was logical, followed a step-by-step plan. He made sure that the numbers were there. He talked through the plan with people. He had confirmation that Cyan was coming after him. All of this made sense. All of it made sense. The only reason people are mad at Damon is because Caden is over here being like, Damon's the worst for this, which I don't get at all because Damon is loyal to Caden. Um, from a gameplay perspective, he should be at a higher score because yeah, like this was the correct move. So that's why I'm annoyed that people are like crashing out on him for being the worst when it's like he made the smart move. He let you in on the plan. Why is everyone mad at Damon? Um, here's the flip side of this though, where I ultimately am like, ooh, Damon, I think you are in the wrong in these parts. I think Damon comes from a side of the fandom, Loki similar to Citrus and Julia and whatnot, where it's like you show up, you know the people, you play the game. You win a power, you make a move, great. Because a lot of these people haven't played games before, and because this is a bit more long term, people like do want to talk to you and get to know you and make friends and whatever. And it's like, yeah, and if you aren't here to do that, like people don't have a reason to not put you up. And Damon, while the plan made sense, he's like, as I think he's realized that some people were like more upset with this, he's kind of like gotten on his high horse of like, well, I'm not here to play this game that's just like we vote out the people that aren't talking. Like, sorry that I'm not talking the most, but like I just want to make a move and this is a move. So like I'm not here to play the who's not talking goes home game. And I'm like, okay, but you do have to talk to stay. Like, so I'm like, there's a bit of a disconnect there. Um, I would
But
love to
also,
give him.
like, for the most part, like, most people are talking.
Well, exactly. Most people are talking. And I think he was a little more upset about that because he was like, well, after everyone wanted like Citrus or Jamie out this week again, he was like, well, after they go, like, I'm gonna be next. And it's like, yeah, Damon, it's because you haven't talked as much. Like, that's why. It's because you haven't set yourself up socially. He's also going around saying like there's no like alliances in the game, like you can't make it. And it's like, no, Damon, there are plenty of alliances. You're just not in them because you haven't talked. Um, so yeah. All to say, from a strategic standpoint, Damon is doing well. He made the right move. He did all the right things this week. From a social standpoint, he's kind of shitting the bed, and it doesn't help that his now former duo is throwing him in front of a bus that he shouldn't be. Um, in my opinion, if people were playing logically moving forward, he should be fine. He let in over half the house on this plan, and it made sense. I don't think he's going to be fine though, due to how people are reacting because of how Caden's reacting. And that's why I do ultimately have to lower my score. I've been at a 5. I want to be able to like reward him for making a good move, but I don't feel as though I can because I think he's a likely next boot um leaving this week, despite everyone being on board for his move. I'm done. I'm talking in circles now. I'm gonna lower my score to a 4, and I'm not going below that because he made a good move. So
This is my
it's
move
a
I
4
made.
from me, and I wish it was higher.
I wish I had more time for this.
Uh, yeah, everybody hates Damon.
Uh,
Yes, and for what? And for why? Like, I literally don't get it. If people were like, oh, Damon doesn't talk to me as much, then it's like, sure, like, yeah, I get it. But people are like, Damon's this wild card and he's an awful player that's making dumb moves. Why are we doing this? It's like, no, this is correct. And he was smart and logical and not frantic about it. I'm confused. But work.
yeah, this did not set him up in a good position. I mean,
But
Kate,
it should have. Ugh, I
but it
digress.
didn't, and sometimes that's what happens. Uh, I think the part of the blowback was this was probably the first like flashy move of the season, and he was kind of the one to break the ice. Uh, I was at a 4. I think from a social positioning standpoint, he's at a 4. But I do think he deserves to be a little rewarded for making the move. So I'm going to go up to a 5. Um, but fully aware that things don't look good for him moving out of an eviction where everybody is talking about how his move was unnecessary. And Caden spreading that. So I'm going to go up to a 5. And Damon sits at a 4.5 for the third week in a row, but our scores
Just
flipped.
flipped who gave him what number.
Uh, Danny.
Danny. Okay. I mean, I'm still a huge Danny fan.
Me
This
too.
week, Danny was a little more absent just because he was on a trip visiting some friends
But he
from.
wasn't even absent. Like he.
Well, exactly, exactly. I'm saying comparatively to like weeks 1 and 2, I feel like I saw his name less in my messages.
Mhm.
Um, also shout out Ava, hey girl. But again, he was still like fully aware of the plan, made aware of everything, is thinking very logically. I really like his prospects. Um, I'm kind of like for the first 2 weeks, I was at a 7, and I'm like, is he still at the 7 or is he at a 6? And I think ultimately he's still at a 7.
That's what I'm going to go for a 7 too.
Um, I'm gonna go to a 7 because I have not heard one negative thing about Danny. Um, I have only seen him think logically. Like he's another player, in my opinion, like similar to Ashlyn. Honestly, that's my duo right there.
Mhm.
Um, Danny just like gets information and it's
Are
just
they are
like
they very loyal to each other?
I think so. In the sense that, like, do what I call them each other's number ones? No. However, because they were partners, like when they're making plans, it's clear Danny is like, yeah, I can talk to Ashlyn. Ashlyn is like, yeah, I can talk to Danny. They have a good line of communication, and I think they will continue to look out for each other. Um, like if either of them won HOH, like the other one would not be
Yeah,
getting the block. Um,
that is feeling correct.
um, he has a good relationship with I feel like almost everyone. Um, he's just getting information, a lot of it. People are like, and he's able to like parse through it well. He's not crashing out over it. Caden, um, Juan, um, and is just like a smart player. And to that I appreciate, and I say seven.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't have much more to say on Danny this week than I did last week.
Mhm.
But I do think with people moving down, it inherently makes other people move up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Um, I feel really good about Danny. I think he's here to stay for a while. Uh, I'm great with a seven. Hurrah. Jamie.
Jamie, already.
Okay.
I am finally intrigued. I'm finally intrigued. Um, Jamie, up to this point, with peace and love, here's my peace, here's my love, has been boring as fuck. Okay. And that's just because let me backtrack a little bit now. That's just because I do not think that like coming into this new format, new experience, new everything fully gets what people are looking for when it comes to this like online reality type of game. Um, it's not an issue. Like with Citrus, it's like oh, I feel like you're like not here. Jamie, it's like, no, I think you're here. I just think that like you aren't initiating a lot of conversations, and thus a lot of people aren't initiating conversations with you. But like when they do, like she has them, and that's good. Um, Last week I went down to a three because of the duo's twist being an inevitability that they end up on the block together. Um, no one is really talking to her or whatever. Leaving this week, did they end up on the block again? Yeah. Um, However, and did she actually lose the duel this week? Yeah, not great. Um,
And the veto.
and then the veto as well. Bad. Um, but for the first time, people were like, and specifically like, come on, Ashlyn, love it. I'll give Juan some kudos here, but I'll talk about Juan in a fucking second. Um, Being like, well, if we want to make a move, like Jamie is someone that we can pull in using Ashlyn is like, I can use the veto on her. And in a very Liz way, like she was talking, Ashlyn was talking with Riley, the night of the veto meeting. Um, and Riley was like, well, how can you like be sure that you have Jamie's vote? And Ashlyn's like, well, I'm gonna use the veto on her and I'm gonna tell her you have to do what I want. And I'm like, yeah, okay, for sure. Um, um, but I think Jamie is now going to be a little more into it. Do I think that she is socially set up well? No, no, I do not. I don't think that's changed. Do I think that she is going to have a few more people coming to her to have game conversations and thus she'll be able to have more game conversations and this could start to blossom into something beautiful? Yes, yes, I do. So I am no longer at my three. I'm at a four for Jamie. So it's going to be a four from me.
I love Jamie. Uh, I'm so glad she keeps like evading eviction because she probably would have gone home this week. Um, but I'm worried she's gonna have to do it again, which is so sad. Because I don't want her to be evicted. But at the same time, I'm like, would I put other people to be evicted before you?
Here's the thing, actually. And this doesn't spoil what we know about next week's HOH because I feel this is true of many people. I feel like Jamie is still a likely person to possibly hit the block in the future. However, the other people that I think are likely to hit the block with her are specifically Citrus and Damon. They're
Yeah.
like the people that have been like cast on the outs. And I think if Damon is on the block next to Jamie, people are like, Damon's the bigger threat. You got to go. And I think if Citrus is on the block next to Jamie, people are like, Citrus
Is less
hasn't said shit to
connected.
me and I want to work with Jamie. So Citrus goes. So I think if like those are the nom options that she's up against, she's fine. If it comes down to all of a sudden someone like a Kaylin or a Riley or someone like that, that's when I worry for her. But I don't think that's as likely heading into next week.
I'm going to stay at my 3 for now. Uh, if this plan didn't come to fruition, she was definitely going to be evicted this week. Um, so, but I'm sad because I like Jamie. And I like that, like, we've said it before of how she's talking, but she just doesn't know how much she needs to talk. I do actually think she's talking quite a bit now. Uh,
Yeah, over this last 2 days, it has skyrocketed.
so, love that for her. But 3.5. And I'm hoping her direction changes because I think she has potential too. But we'll see. Jason,
Jason. Okay. I I mean, obviously I only want the best for Jason. I really like watching him play this game. Um,
me too.
there's a
He's on
lot
point.
that awesome. There's a lot that he's doing really well, and he knows he's doing it really well. There's a lot that's still I'm like, oh no, and I don't think he sees it. And it's not his fault for not seeing it. It's just I think that he's underestimating these people that don't know what they're doing. Um, Here's what Jason is doing well. He is like good at talking to people and making them feel really good about their relationship in the game. Um, on a FaceTime, like you get on a FaceTime with Jason, like Jason like knows what to say, almost to a point where it's like you're able to clock like, wow, you're really good at making me feel really good. And some people have started to be like that. People see him as like shady and making moves because he comes off a little smarmy now in like the conversations that he has with people because he is so game focused. Um, and it doesn't help that his former duo like wants him out. Um, which we'll get to
That's
Juan
gonna
and
be something that we see later down the line. I think that's gonna be a big plot point of the season.
I'm like waiting for it to happen. Um,
Like Jason to strike on Juan, or Juan to strike on Jason, or Jason to find out about it and then strike first.
yes. Here's where I see Jason right now. I was thinking, I don't know why this season, like I've been thinking back to a lot of previous seasons and like who people remind me of. We talked about Karina, Grace, Ashlyn, like Liz here. Jason to me is screaming Dakota, 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 Dakota. Um, at this point of the season, Dakota was kind of on the outs, didn't fully realize it,
Almost went home.
almost went home. Jason knows, and he's in his diary room. He's like, Riley is someone that I want to work with. Suba is someone that I want to work with. These are people that are social that I think like me, that respectfully to them, he thinks that he can like get them to play like the loyal game to him and he can like steamroll on the strategic game side and like win out, which I think honestly, not a bad read. Um, his issue is he's still working super tightly with people like Juan and Danny and Caden and Karina that are not super prioritizing him because they are clocking the he's everywhere, he's just saying what he wants them to hear, whatever aspect of it all, which is partly true, but it's partly not true because Jason does genuinely want to play the game with him. Um, but the key thing that Jason needs is to realize that he's got to fully commit to the Rileys and Subas and of it all. And like he's gonna have to be the one to realize that he needs to strike at Juan and Danny and Caden first because I fear right now the trajectory that the game is going is they have the one up on him and they're going to strike at him first. And he does not see it coming currently. I think right now he thinks that he is just in an awesome spot. And I think he's in a fine spot. Um, just to be so blunt, which I hate saying. I predicted that this would be my score last week, and it is going to be it. I am going to move down to a 5 for Jason. Definitely not in like immediate danger. However, I don't think is nearly on the in as much as he thinks he is. Um, which I think is his biggest blind spot. So it's a 5 from me.
I'm gonna be at a 5 as well. I think that he who's he who do you feel like he's closest with, like Riley? I feel like he stated that like Riley is his person.
Riley is the if he had to choose to go to final two with someone right now, it would be Riley, I think.
Um, I think coming out of this week, Damon making this move is good for him because now he has someone that he's looking at moving forward. I think that he has a target in mind, and Damon's perfect scapegoat to be like, okay, if I need to target someone, because he's been very intentional that when he tries for things, he wants to make sure he knows what he's doing. So he has that now. But I'm gonna be honest, 5 as well. I think Jason's kind of in the middle for me right now. I think he's been kind of busy this weekend too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, can you say the thing you said about Damon again right there? Like, what were you saying?
Like Damon making this move uh, gives Jason the opportunity to target someone specifically. I think that's what I was gathering from a call with Riley yesterday.
And I agree with that. The only thing that I worry about is like, let's say in theory, Jason were to come to power soon. I think that targeting Damon only benefits the people that are shortly going to be targeting him.
Well, his from yesterday, from what I was hearing, his and Riley's plan was to scoop in Suba, who would have been a lone partner, and kind of give her what she would want, which would be probably to target Damon, and then therefore Suba would be partnered with Caden if the twist were to continue. But
Mhm.
obviously they didn't know that. So yeah, that's Jason. Juan.
Okay,
Okay,
let me take the fucking
all
floor.
right. Before you start, I feel like we need this kind of energy from one person in a season. There always has to be someone who is like
The
crazy.
Jacob Chaplin, the Brandon
Yes,
Ray.
like you.
Uh,
No, I would not put Brandon Ridge on the
it's
same
not.
level.
Hold on, no. It's not the same type of crazy, but like Brandon, what like there? Brandon was the season 13. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Like
know
we
what I
need
mean?
someone like that. We need someone
I'm
like
not saying Juan is like Brandon. He's very much not. He's like Jacob Taplin, but like there's always got to be one person. My God, um, I
that.
have had it up to here with Juan. I've had it up to here. I'm not even doing a thing. It's above the camera. That's how I've had it up to here. Um, ah, strategically, this man is a fucking mess, nightmare, garbage. By God, Juan, get a grip. He's if we think Caden is overthinking things, my God, Caden looks like he could do something really sane. I don't know what their metaphor was going. Um, Juan is just living on opposite planet. Welcome. Um, and it's like okay, for example, just an example. Riley and Jamie are left on the block after the initial nominations, right? And he goes, I don't really know what to do because Riley is someone that I'm in a 4-person tight alliance with that she views as really crucial and helpful. But Jamie is someone that I could work with. I think I'd like to keep Jamie and evict Riley. What? That doesn't make sense. You're in a tight 4-person alliance with Riley that, although you aren't prioritizing it per se, you don't talk to Jamie. And when you tried to talk to Jamie, you got nothing. So what do you mean Jamie could be someone that you were? Anybody, if by being in this house, someone is someone that you could work with. But the reality is you aren't working together. So why are we doing this? Then we have this long ass call where we're like trying to push for Cyan to go up on the block because that would be a move and that'd be awesome. We can save Jamie, this person that we could work with. Ooh. And then Cyan finally gets on the block. Cyan, someone that Juan doesn't really talk to, that knows is tied to Suba, that he just worked to get on the block, versus Riley, who is, let me say it again, in one tight 4-person alliance with Juan, and before the veto meeting, specifically asked to call Juan in said alliance to be like, here's this crucial information that I have to share with you, trusted allies. And Juan is like, you know what? It would actually be better for Riley to go here. Let's flip the vote. What? Um, and clearly he had no strategic capital or reasoning to do so because when he tried pushing for it, it didn't make sense. He's also so pinholed on thinking that Jason is this monster. Do I think that Juan should be like trying to go to final two with Jason? No. But Juan has taken it in the whole other direction. And literally in the king of Jacob Taplin moves, like Jacob Taplin, why did you target Eric and Paige? They were with you 100%. Jason is with Juan 100%. So Juan, why do you like anything that Jason does? Jason breathes. And Juan is like, oh my God, did you see Jason? He's worn out. He's been talking to so many people. We need to take him out. What? That doesn't make any sense. He's like, literally, like, what killed me is like, there was a couple times this week that he like first he went to Karina, Danny, and Caden and was like, yeah, Jason had a call last night with Riley and Perry. I wasn't able to be there. But they are like clearly like they're trying to form some sort of power structure against this group. We need to take them out soon. Juan, 2 seconds later, texts and was like, hey, I wasn't able to make the call last night. Like, what was said there? Do you know what was said? Riley texts back and said, sorry, it was a butt dial. We didn't actually call. Like, nothing happened. There's been no talk of this power structure that Jason is trying to do. It's made up in his head, but he thinks it's so real. There's also the chat that Juan and Jason have with Danny and Ashlyn, and they were talking about the vote. And Danny asks, like, what are you guys thinking about the vote? I personally think that I am going to like evict Cyan here for this. And Jason is like, yeah, I agree. Danny and Juan, what do you think? Juan immediately runs to Ashlyn and is like, Ashlyn, why didn't Jason ask you in the group chat what you think? Why did he say just me and Danny? Oh. And this is one of the Ashlyn Queen moments where Ashlyn's like, well, I think that he just got confused with there because he asked Danny again and Danny just said, so it was clearly probably just like a typo. And Juan was like, okay, I don't know. He's just scary. He's doing a lot. And it's like, what the hell? Jason can't do anything right. Am I also a little biased because I am like, leave Jason alone? Maybe. I'll admit it. But this is crazy, Juan. Here's the thing. Socially, he should be at a 7. Because he's with everyone. Everyone really trusts Juan. It's awesome. Strategically, I want to drop him down to a 5 because this was bad and I don't want to give him a green score. I'm going to be nice for another week because he's doing so well socially that I'm going to stay at a 6. But I want to make it a 5 so badly, Juan. Yes, I do. You have to stop being psycho. It's a 6 and he's lucky that it's a green score is all I have to say.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go down to a 5. I'm actually kind of.
I had it in my notes for the longest time that I was going to go down to a 5. And here's the thing. yes, this is my ranking and I can do what I want with it. But as much as I hate to admit it, being at a 5 for Juan, like right now, everyone likes him. He's set up so socially well. He can't not be at a green score in my mind because it's just like he's not he's one of the people that I'm like most confident is not going to touch the block next week. As soon as he slips up a little bit more and people start to be like, what the hell?
I was gonna say for right now, it's not working. Like,
And like that's the thing. And here's the thing, it didn't not work for Jacob, which is
Jacob.
like what I realized it was really frustrating. It's like, and that's what I said a few weeks ago when I was like, want to Jacob Taplin. It's like the thing is, it worked for Jacob Taplin. He
Yeah.
got to the finale. Was he gonna lose? Almost certainly. But but still, like so I think Juan is gonna be here for a while. But just the paranoia drives me crazy, and I refuse to give him like a really good score. Because if you get a really good score, you're a really good player. And newsflash, Juan, you are not that right now. Okay.
Now I'm thinking about my regrets from season 16 and how Jacob Taplin was on it. Do you know the dynamic that would have added to that season?
Well, I mean, what do you mean you regret? We asked him. And
My
he said,
regret that he couldn't
I'm
play.
in Cuba.
I was like, get a cell phone plan, buddy. Okay.
And
Six.
while you're getting a cell phone plan for Cuba, pick up some sand from there too. Okay. What are your thoughts on Juan?
I still have my sand. I like
I
my.
hope the Tocantins sand plot. Okay, anyway.
It's in my bedroom at home. Um, I'm gonna be at 6 too. Yeah, I thought you were gonna go down to a 5, but I was gonna be at a 6. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not working. So he's crazy, and I kind of love to see it because a lot of his crazy comes out in his DR. But I do think that like once more people start opening their eyes a little bit and being like, "Oh, he's kind of crazy." Um,
I mean, and here's the thing, and this is a good segue into Karina because Karina,
well, wait, hold on, hold on. Then let's.
and I mean, this is still talking about Juan, so I'll mention it here. But like, Karina is one of the people, in fact, is the only person that in her diary room, like she had a conversation with Juan, and she went to her diary room. And she was like, "Oh wow, like Juan is like crazy and like not good, um, strategically."
But that
Uh,
doesn't necessarily mean like, yeah, sometimes you want to get rid of that kind of person because they're chaotic. But other times you want to keep them because they are crazier than you, and the people
and
keep.
that's what Karina's viewing it as. She's
It's
like,
like a almost like a Diego a little bit as we're making like these season 16 episodes.
yes, but it's like it's not the same.
Diego's is a,
Like Diego wasn't paranoid. Diego was just like, I'm here to throw shit at the wall. What about it? Juan is like, this is so smart. I'm a genius. Everyone's plotting against me and I know it. No one. No one is. Like, it's different. This is Jacob Taplin
no
energy.
one is.
No one. No. Juan is plotting against you. Anyway, now we've lost the plot. Okay.
All right, now we can talk about Karina.
Okay. Karina, I stand and I clap. I love Karina in this game. Oh my God. She is this week was the first week that I really saw like up to this week, the sevens have been like in super well socially, has a good strategic mind. Are they going to be able to turn it on? This week, Karina proved to me we're going to be able to turn it on. Right after the veto, Karina was the first person in a call with Ashlyn. Not Damon, not Danny. Karina was in there and she was talking and she was trying to get shit done. And let's just like see where everything was at. Then immediately Karina's on a call with Damon. And Karina's on a call with Danny and Kaden. And it's just like figuring it all out and is like getting exactly what she wants. Like, I'm pretty sure she was one of the people that sent in a long text that was like, Cyan going this week would be beautiful for me. But you know what? She didn't say to anyone that Cyan going home this week would be beautiful for her. She was just like egging on all the other people that were talking about it and then like got it to happen. She egged on Ashlyn, used the veto. Yeah, we could totally do it. Got the votes for Riley. Awesome. Egged on Damon, trying to like assuage Caden that it's gonna be fine, trying to calm him down. Um, like I'm just like, yes, 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 yes. Yes. I'm a huge fan of Karina. I think, I mean, she was number one ranked preseason. Um, and I think that she's still pretty high up there in terms of number one ranked. In fact, based on my rankings, she will be the number one ranked because based off of this week and how she navigated with all the social relationships as well, I'm moving up to an 8. An 8 for Karina because she ate it up.
Yeah,
An
both up to
8.
me
She's
too.
the first person I've seen have like a stronghold on,
She's definitely like the number one right now.
and she's the
Top
number one
dog.
because no one realizes it.
She's the new sheriff in town for this week.
Did you
Um,
say 8?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think Karina's going to be one to watch out for. She's got a lot of strong social connections, and I think if people aren't careful, she could sneak her way to the end. And she's already most wanted, so she's already got that advantage going into the final seven. So, and that's not that long away. So,
That we're over halfway there in terms of days, which is wild.
and three people have gone home.
And 3 people have gone home. Um,
Yeah, eight for me. First eight of the season.
First 8 of the season and well deserved.
Awesome. I feel like this is early in the season to break the eight seal.
I feel like we think that every time, but like I was looking back at previous rankings and like Paige had an 8
As
in
one
week 1
does.
of season 11. Ryan and Sarah had them in week 2. Like it's not as early as we think.
Yeah, I feel like the nines are like where we
The
start.
9 is like the big hurdle. Yeah, yeah,
Kaylin. Kaylin.
yeah.
Let me talk about Kaylin. I love Kaylin.
I love Kaylin so
I
much.
think it's just because I was expecting her to be a flop friend, but she's so much more than that. She's so
She's so
much.
much more than a pop.
She. I mean, like by name, she is a flop friend. By action, she is so much more than that. Uh, I love Kaylin, and it's so funny because I think she gives off this air where it's like Riley and Jamie are new to this. They have picked up what's going on and they like have shown that they picked up what's going on. I think Kaylin still is giving off an air of like, I don't know what's happening and like all this stuff, but she does, and I love it. You go.
I love it so much. It probably is not going to be in the episodes that we just saw. It will most certainly be in the upcoming episodes because it came in this morning, but it was still about last week. I just want to, for context, Kaylin, like, she just is like decently insulated. Do I think she's the most insulated? No, but she's definitely not on the outs.
I just saw the DR.
Yeah, and I want to get to it in a second. Right now, like her number ones in the game are like, or at least like her and Damon have had a really good relationship so far, randomly, which like sure. And her and Suba like knew each other coming into the game, and this is why I stan Ashlyn so much, and that's why I stan Caitlyn too. All these like power players that are like in the alliances are so clearly overthinking themselves. And Kaylin is sitting here like, what are you doing? This is too much. The diary room moment that we just got from Kaylin is, and this is Kaylin who seems like the sweetest and isn't really here, not tuned in from the game. Kaylin this morning had to say, these fucking sheeple are so annoying, acting like Cyan magically disappeared from the house when the vote was 9-1, and then blaming Damon and kissing Suba's ass like, give it up, divas. Literally all of the girls saying Damon was a liar, and the same ones who helped organize Cyan's nomination and eviction, like, question marks. And as much as I adore Caden, he needs to get a grip for real, for real. He is not innocent in Damon's shenanigans, and he's spiraling about everyone out to try and make Damon out to be an evil when Damon saved both their asses because we didn't know duos would be ending the next week. So, like, question marks? Did he think this game wasn't going to get messy? It's fucking Big Brother. Clock it, Kaylin. Clock it, Kaylin. Kaylin could not have said it better myself. I have a full picture of the game, and Kaylin said it better than I did. Wake it up. Wake it up, Kaylin. Wake it up. Yeah. Kaden needs to get a grip for real, for real. Say it louder for the people.
I know that whole diary room was going in the episode.
All these fucking sheeple are annoying. Yeah, say it. Oh my gosh, the way she clocked each and every one of their asses when she said, "Are people acting like Cyan magically disappeared?" Like, no, you were in and a part of the plan, and now you're annoyed that Damon did it, and you're acting like he's crazy, and 2, we're kissing Suba's ass for voting out her ally when everyone was talking about how socially connected she was. No, I'm not having it.
Even after the eviction, she got voted most connected. She got voted like best conversation.
Caitlyn ate, like, honestly, she won the season with that one. She did.
Giving
She won.
Suba a run for her money for production's favorite.
Um, I'm like, I mean, like, literally, like, I want to, like, that's a monologue. That's a like, put it in the
That
BBSS
isn't
book.
that is an all-time diary room, I
That
think.
is an all-time diary room right there for someone that you would not have expected it from. I literally just snaps all around. With that being said, um,
Coming back down now.
coming back down to earth a little bit, I can't like give her the world in terms of a score. Like she has my whole heart. It's a 10 in my heart. However, um, it's still gonna be a 5 for me for a score because because she's not super well insulated. Sure, her name is still as tossed out there as someone that's like probably a little more on the outs. That being said, people view her as someone that they can use as a number. Um, Honestly, she is right between like Ashlyn and Jamie for me, which is why I think her score is right between Ashlyn and Jamie for me. Um, I think she'll be fine for a little bit. She clearly has the strategic chops to wake it up. I just hope that we see it and that she's able to break free from that a little bit. But right now, I do kind of see a mid-jury finish for her, somewhere around seventh place is what I like. It's unfortunately I'm seeing for Kaylin right now. So yeah,
This is my ranking, and I'm gonna go up to a 6. Uh, I I think she's more connected than you're giving her credit for. I think that like I wouldn't say she's right between Ashlyn and Jamie. I would say she's more towards Ashlyn. Um,
I would agree with that.
I just love her. Like I feel like I was at like the edge point of a 5, and I'm like she just like tips it towards a 6. You know, uh, I think that I think she will be okay for a little bit, and the fact that she's doing better than I expected her to do tips it up a little bit in the same way that Damon did worse than I was expecting him to do, which tipped it down a little bit. Uh, but 6 from me. And I'm very excited to see Kaylin continue to navigate the game. Amazing.
Are
Left
those active like crickets in your background?
crickets?
It sounds like there's like a whole like ecosystem outside.
It's probably my computer that is starting to
Oh, that's so funny.
flash the air conditioning, but it's not that loud.
But like it very specifically sounds like there's like frogs croaking and like crickets and like a pond and
It's a water bottle. Are you sure it's me?
I think so. Yeah, it's coming from it. Yeah, it's absolutely. We'll see it back later. Um,
Okay.
okay, anyway, moving on to left hair.
Crickets. Left area. Speaking of crickets,
What do you mean speaking of crickets?
you go first.
Um, left hair has not been crickets.
I was making hyperbole.
Oh.
Exaggeration.
Um,
But not fully exaggerated, in my opinion.
um, no, I think Letterry's been here a lot. I've been on a couple calls with him in the last week.
Sorry.
The issue,
Keep going. Not crickets as in like hasn't been here. But keep going.
oh, okay. But I unfortunately think that for Lefteri, next to Suba, Cyan leaving hurt Lefteri the most. Um, from that perspective, this week was not good for him. From the perspective that he, I think, was the ideal target for the week before all this backdoor nonsense started, also not ideal. I also think if I run down this list, I think Ashlyn, Caden, Damon, maybe, Danny, Juan could be like convinced if he comes back down to Earth. Karina, um, and like Loki, Kaylin are all like see Left Harry as like the next move to make. Like his social capital is unfortunately quickly diminishing and running out. Um, he does still have a couple of key allies. And he won the duel this week, which was good. But in terms of week 3, I don't think he fully realized maybe how dangerous of a spot he was in. In this upcoming HOH competition, some cards were put on the table, and there was like a few things that were like answered, which like you'll see next week, where maybe Left Harry is starting to clock it. Um, I'm a little in between on where to give my score. It will unfortunately definitely be a red, and the question is, do I stay at a 4 or do I go down to a 3? Um, and unfortunately, I think I am gonna go down to a 3, and it really makes me sad because I do really like Left Harry, but the reason I'm gonna be down to the 3 is like, and maybe like if this was like in prior seasons, I probably would have given him a 4, but not that like I've like changed my like rankings mindset, but like in my mind, Left Cherry was most likely to be like next up on the bill to go home for this upcoming week. Um, I granted we know now that that may not be the case, due to who may be HOH next week, but in a world where we don't know that, I'm going to stick to what I have on the paper, and I am going to go down to a 3. It could be a 4. Like I'm not. This isn't like a harsh 3. Um, However, I do think that like when I look at someone like Jamie, who I do think is like on the up and up, who I gave a 4, I think Left Terry is unfortunately with Cyan leaving and being the target, and a lot of people looking his way, is on the down, and that's where I am ultimately landing, sadly. So it's going to be a 3 for me. He has a few pivots. Um, Leaving this week, I think him and Suba are now super close and bonded by Cyan leaving, which is great. He's obviously still super close with Riley. He's got Jason in his corner and should have won, um, but aside from that, he doesn't really have a lot.
1 second, sorry. Yeah, I more meant crickets as in like good, not a good week for him. Like he's not speaking right now because it was a bad week.
I see.
I didn't mean like it was also a bad joke. But anyway, um, yeah, I hear what you're saying about the 3. I think I'm gonna stay at my 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
Shit, should I say it for?
no one is holding you to your 3. If you want to switch, there's nobody is holding you to it. But I mean, at least from what I've seen, like he's got his people, which I think is better than say someone like Citrus, who I gave a 3 to, and you gave it 2 to. So maybe a 3 makes sense for you, but um, yeah, not a great week. But I'm gonna say there 4. Awesome. Riley.
Okay. Riley, I think, is actually the person in this cast that I'm the most confused by. Um, because I've gone on a roller coaster this week with how I felt. I After she lost the duos duel, with how she was playing, I was getting ready to be like, oh, like she deserves a 6. Because honestly, she was great of like she lost the duos duel. She got on FaceTime with both Damon and Kaden. She was like, hey, I'm up on the block. I understand I'm not your targets from what you're saying. However, I want to make sure that like if Jamie comes off the block, like what is the plan to keep me safe if I'm not here? If you're telling me the truth, like let's make a plan and make sure it's fine. And it was in that conversation that the plan for Cyan to go up like actually came about. And that was with Damon. And Damon was like pretty clear about like coming up with that like in the spot.